Broadcasting from New York, New York, it's Grant's Rants, Hollywood Talk.
Bravo TV is in a strange place. The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City kickoff. PumpRules is still on hold, but can we just end it already? Dolly Parton has no time to age. And is there anything good on TV? That and more with Ashley Hoover Baker right here. Let the ranting begin. I am joined by Ashley Hoover Baker. She's coming to us from the podcast On This Day Entertainment. Welcome to the Rants.
I am so excited to be here, Grant. Your rants are absolutely life-giving. It's an honor and a privilege.
My goodness. Thank you very much. I'm just glad to talk to you. So look at that.
You're one of my favorite people to chat with on Instagram.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I mean, I think for some people it can be considered negative and bitchy, but for other people it's just the truth. And for me, I'm just telling the truth.
And our truths aren't always going to align. And I love that you're solid on your opinion. You stand strong and, you don't let other people's commentary get in your way. And I love you for it.
Let's see if we agree about the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. Since this podcast has been around, Grant's Rants, now 5 years, this was pre-Dallas, pre-Potomac. Now we're introducing Salt Lake City. So I haven't had a new show to discuss in a long time. In a very long time. I think the Bravo podcast world in general has just really been amped to have something new to talk about. How do you feel about it, being a podcaster yourself?
I needed it. Like, the other franchises are, even the ones, like, my favorite is always I shouldn't say always going to be, but it has always been New York, and I just love it so much. But even this year, even with Leah, who was amazing, it definitely didn't feel the same. I know they lost, a longtime producer had passed away. And all the other franchises, I'm just kind of like, Beverly Hills, I'm disappointed. Ugh. Orange County, I'm not even watching. So Salt Lake, and as somebody, I'm in Vegas, I have a huge population of Mormons around me. My street name is Brigham Avenue. Oh, wow. So like the Mormon population is so real around me. And I've been friends with so many Mormons and what we call Jack Mormons. The bad ones growing up and just in life. So I'm here for all of the chaotic energy of Salt Lake City.
I'm still really learning these women, but I'm figuring it out. Now, I had the pleasure of going to a viewing party at Megan O'Donnell's apartment. Bravo Happy Hour is her podcast, for those curious.
Ooh.
And it was a rainy, effing cold night. I was miserable. The show came out at 11 o'clock. Why did they do this? First of all, let's head right into my rant of the day.
Let's go.
Grant's Rant of the Day.
This was ridiculous. They put on 2 hours of original programming for OC Housewives, thinking that was going to be a solid lead-in to the new city, when the ratings are at like almost record lows for OC. They're barely scratching 1 million views. It's like, why would you put 2 hours of a show that is literally like everyone collectively, like the Bravo basement, and then you think that's going to energize an audience to tune into this new show that they've got everything behind?
And the funny thing is, I think Bravo thinks they were trying to like pull a quick win on us. Like, dude, you're like, OC is not going to happen right now. Like, you need a complete makeover. Like, send in the Queer Eye guys. Like, we need a complete makeover top to bottom on that show. And it's funny, and I really wish I could give the Instagram account credit right now, but somebody posted, even today, I think it was, about Kelly Dodd went on a rant saying that she's like, people aren't boycotting Orange County because of me. This is a load of bull. People are watching political commentary. All Housewives viewing ratings are down. And she was like, and of course she turned off the comments on this story. It might be erased by now. But yeah, it was like, actually, Kelly, majority of us stopped watching because of you, or a combination of you and several other things.
Right. Like, I mean, I don't care to follow her life, much like any of those women. In fact, I have not even seen a frame of it. So when I was at this party, we had old Atlanta episodes playing, which was cool. Phaedra Parks period, that whole period.
Oh, she's the best.
Do you remember when they went to a strip club, by the way, and it was like a mature group of women? Anyway, it was that era. But then we cut into OC for like the last 40 seconds. And it was Bronwyn, and it was the other one, Gina. I don't even plan to talk about this on the show, but I was just like, no, like my brain was like, no, what is this show? I don't know who these people are. I don't know what they want. Get out of here. So I was so turned off.
Orange County lost me after we lost Heather Dubrow. And just a friendly reminder, she's gone because of Kelly freaking Dodd. More reason that Kelly Dodd just needs to be gone.
So I want to make sure we get to Salt Lake City because this is the top story. But I just want to say initial reaction was, what a group of weirdos.
Oh my God, they're insane and I love it.
Like they're each a little more strange than the next and they're all trying so hard. What's different about this show is that the show went into production and everybody knew they were going to be on Real Housewives. Unlike Potomac, unlike Dallas, when it was like Women of Dallas, and it was like, oh, what could we possibly be filming? Like they knew they were housewives, so they know they got to turn up the bitch factor. So so it was already a little what's the right word for it? It was already a little put on, but
a little calculated going in.
Yeah, but you know what? I mean, look, I am going to be watching this unless there's something catastrophic happens and I'm just bored to death. I will be watching. I'm curious. I want to see just fresh blood. Like I'm in.
Well, you see, okay, here's exactly where I am. And I think you nailed it. And I think Jen Shah is the one that fits into what you just described as like, we're going to do the Housewives. She has exactly what she's going to put out. People love it. She's giving us so much great content. Like it feels created. I'm not saying that's not who she is, but maybe like an amped up version of that. I feel the one I'm most surprised with, my least favorite tagline, yet my favorite first episode performance, Heather Gay. I am here for her. I think I hated her tagline about like my ancestors pioneered and that's what I'm trying to do. Hate the tagline. I love the energy she's coming in with. I am very similar to her. Like the fact that we kind of look alike in our body makes me feel really good. I mean, we talk about diversity as far as like, hey, we have, a black housewife, from the Middle East, a Persian housewife. And I love Meredith's son, who I think we can all assume is a homosexual young man. But even just having like a non-typical body type on a show is diversity in my eyes, at least. And it's refreshing.
It is. She's relatable. And Heather, I connect with her right away. I feel like, and a friend of mine too even said the same thing, like we could go for a drink with her. I feel like we could have a good time and chat. It wouldn't be, like we wouldn't feel out of place. She seems approachable. And we need that, especially when we're meeting a bunch of women. And so many of them are literally ice cold.
Oh, my gosh. I'm having a tough time with the two that I can't tell apart.
Same. Yes.
Those two,
Meredith and Lisa.
I'm not warming up to them as quickly as I would like to. Like, I'm intrigued by Mary. She's not getting a ton of great press. The grandpa thing's obviously crazy, but I am so here for it. I am fascinated by her storyline.
Here's my prediction about Mary. So Mary seems to be kind of brought into the group through Whitney. She's kind of on the outskirts. She's the crazy one. At least that's how they're painting her through story production, whatever, story producers.
Right.
I predict that she's going to be like Danielle Staub early on, where she was kind of on the periphery and easy to push out, easy to have a group turn on her, and easy to get her off. And so I don't know how invested I'm going to be in Mary. I think kind of the sideshow of her with the husband will kind of rise and fall. And then I don't know how involved she's going to be in the group, especially if these women feel as though they have to start, pushing people out. And they're going to act aggressive because they're housewives. So I don't have a good feeling for her future on the show.
It's very weird. And the fact that media-wise, like the fact that she's blocked everybody or turned off all kinds of comments, hidden herself, however, from social media. From what I understand, she's reported a whole bunch of pages that have like posted about her and tried to get like accounts shut down. Oh, and I'm like, okay, girl, you obviously are not, this isn't going to work for you if this is how you're coming out of the gates.
No, she needs to be like on the other side of it, where like any promotion is good promotion, publicity, and just enjoy, ride the wave. I mean,
right.
It's inevitable. I mean, many friggin' gifs and memes of Housewives being made like as this podcast is being recorded. Like it's just you can't fight it. It's like a system. It's a tidal wave. Forget it.
Exactly. Yeah, the grandpa thing obviously is weird and creepy and disturbing, but like as a firm believer in what people do in their bedrooms is really none of my business as long as it doesn't like affect like public health or anything. I mean, like I really don't care and it's consensual. So therefore I'm like, okay, like I still have my opinion. It's fucking weird and creepy and gross. I'm with Jen Shah on that 100%. Like the idea of boning like any kind of person that old is so weird and creepy. But it obviously, I guess, works for them. And I'm not going to pretend to understand, but.
Yeah, whatever. I don't know. It makes for a great like interview segment with the husband. Like I enjoyed it.
It was great.
Overall, I enjoyed the whole thing. I like Lisa, the one who owns the tequila company, but claims she doesn't drink any of it. And some of the brands we own, I'm sure you've heard of them. Ola Tequila, Casa Tequila, Mexican Tequila. Like I was like, okay. I love the edit. I love the shady edit. So I'm really into this chick because she seems like the most delusional to me.
Yes. Of all of the delusion of the show, like the delusion of romance by having Brooks, the star of the show, let's be honest, is the teenage son of Meredith, when the dad had him like help seduce, I guess, the wife with the rose petals and the romance and the candles and stuff. Like, of all the weird things, like that, why are you calling with all the money you have? You couldn't have hired some guy from the florist to come and do this. You're having your teenage son do it? Weird.
I know. There was a lot of weird stuff happening. And I want to just tip my hat to the story producers of this show, because in the first episode, which was long, and we're going to get to that in a minute. But there was a lot going on. We even saw what we thought was a wedding, but it was a vow renewal, so we could already check that box. We had a birthday party that was for somebody else. We saw fur coats. There's already like some side characters, like Jen Shah's assistant who picks up the tampons. Like, we already got that drunk girl singing "Happy Birthday." Like, there's already like a universe being built out. What I'm saying is there was a lot of weird you-know-what in this episode, and it was enough to keep me interested.
I'm enamored. I keep on finding myself like mentioning it to my husband, who is not a part of the Housewives community. He can't stand the culture of Housewives, and I know he doesn't care, but I can't stop talking about it. And for me, that's just like a huge shining light of 2020 that I needed.
I mean, we've waited for this show. They teased this at BravoCon in October of last year. So, I mean, hurry up. They can't do this anymore. They cannot hold on to shows for a year and then release them. It's completely irrelevant in this age where everyone has a podcast. Everybody's on social media. You've got my competition now is like peoplemagazine.com. Like, I mean, everyone's doing commentary on Housewives. It's crazy. So, like, the fact that this stuff sits on like realityt.com for as long as it does, and then eventually we see some like weird reality play out on the show. Like, it's repetitive. It's old news. Like, they got to adapt. Come on.
Exactly. You're exactly right. And like, not only are we competing with like tons of other podcasters and like you said, like these journals and stuff that are developing podcasts, but like almost every housewife, Bravo celebrity in general, like there are several podcast hosts per show at this point.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So like, great, now I'm competing with Bethany Frankel. This is going to end well for me.
Yeah, exactly. The market is so like just saturated. And that's why I keep saying to people, what is next? Because I'm ready to get behind what's next and I want to go all in. So like, what is next? Because like, yeah, I mean, they're going to be entering season 16 of OC Housewives next year. I mean, like, that's not a young show. That's not a young franchise. Like, we're in deep. So I need something else. So we'll get there. I just want to say one quick thing. Bravo, I caught you. I saw what you were doing with extending this premiere. It went to almost 11:15, which is too damn late on a Wednesday. And that's because it synced up with Watch What Happens Live. Now, Watch What Happens Live ratings are terrible. Watch What Happens Live is at the, like, I don't know who they've got left over there, but watching live anyway. I'm sure it does fairly well in streaming, but I'm just going to be honest, like, this was a manipulation for them to keep people so that way they could average it in. This is my opinion, but this is how I feel, and this is what I believe happened. Yep, this is what I believe happened, was that they averaged in the last 10 minutes of the premiere, which they thought was going to be huge, in with that Watch What Happens Live episode, which only got a 0.7, so that's 700,000 basic, live viewers, and then Watch What Happens Live got like a 0.4 plus. So they still lost a lot in that little transition. So I don't know what to tell them over there. That must be disappointing for them, but.
Just add on to that. I think I think Bravo, I'm going to call them out on this too. The fact that they're doing the virtual audience now just seems so desperate to me. Like, because they never featured the audience regularly, it's very strange, and it just feels like they're reaching out to like a lot of these big Bravo accounts that have these thousands and thousands of followers just to get those. I think that's their idea of like getting reach back into Watch What Happens Live.
Oh, well, that makes sense. Yeah. I mean, I have not bothered. I've been to a couple tapings in New York when he was out in LA. That was enough for me. I don't need to sit there on Zoom clapping to myself. Like,
right.
For me personally, I'm good. That's just me. But
right. Well, and it's just weird that, like, obviously the numbers have been so bad, but the fact that they went back into the studio to not have guests and not have anybody, like, clearly what they were doing with him at home wasn't working, and they're doing anything they can to keep this party going.
Yeah, and it used to be my favorite show. I definitely
Me too.
have some. I have a lot of Bravo fatigue. I have Andy Cohen fatigue. I have Let's Play Games on TV fatigue. Like, so I think tastes are changing, and that's okay because it's inevitable. I mean, I have tweaked this show over the course of only 5 years, so many different ways, and it's because I believe right now you're really playing up to like this direct to consumer, right? This like these people who are listening and supporting you, they want to get things how they want to get it. They don't necessarily want to have everything in one big, long form. That's why I'm putting things in bits and pieces, different platforms. I'm trying to embrace different ways, and meeting the audience where they are is really what my strategy is. And yeah, I mean, this linear, like, they keep changing the time of Watch What Happens Live. It's like sometimes it's 10 o'clock, 10:30, 11. And it's like, not everyone's going to tune in live anymore. I mean, to watch Sarah Paulson play a game. I mean, but they will watch it on YouTube. So you have to find them where they are,
Exactly.
Yeah. So anyway, let's talk about Vanderpump Rules while we're in this Bravo space.
Let's do it.
Or, I mean, there's not much to report, which I think is a good thing because I don't have too much to say positive about it. But can we just, can we keep it 100% real? Can we just kill the show now? Are we done? Can we all be done? Can we all agree collectively we're done?
It's over. It's been over. And it breaks my heart because whereas New York Housewives has always been like reign supreme for me, Vanderpump Rules really gave it a run for its money. And I worked in restaurants like through my teenage years. When I worked in my undergraduate degree, I worked as a bartender, server on the Strip here in Vegas. Like, I love the scandalous lifestyle because it's so true. Like, when you're young in your 20s, you're hot, you're making out with the bartenders, even though you're dating the busser, but you're hooking up with a manager who just slept with your best friend that you're not supposed to know about. Like, this is restaurant life. And I loved Vanderpump Rules, but it's, to say it's a dead horse is offensive to dead horses.
Well, I'm glad we can agree on this because I know there are some hardcore like pump heads or whatever they call themselves. Like, they're so into it. And to me, it's like, it comes down to like, here's what they're saying. They're saying there's no timeline for the show to return and the series is on a hold, which I have said on this podcast, like there's such bad energy around the show, bad publicity. They should put on hold. So they are wise to do that. But what are we coming back to? The problem is here in between these last two, in between this previous season and what I guess will be a new season, too much has happened. Too much has happened. Everyone's got these babies now, and it's just, if this is a reality show about following people's lives, you've lost the flow. You've lost the story. Too much time has passed. It's just, this is an organic way to just like end it. And it's interesting because a lot of people feel the same way. Nobody talks about Lisa Vanderpump because it doesn't seem like anybody cares about her anymore. And we've seen every manufactured storylines anyway. Who cares?
Right. Ew, the worst was when she had one of the two new guys, the better looking of the two, go into her house, like doing her personal training. I was like, in what world is an an employer asking this hot young guy to come to her house and do private one-on-one like workout sessions. Like, it's just like, we know these things are staged. We know these situations are manufactured, but it's just like, honestly, it's become insulting to the watcher. Like, it's to the viewer. It's just so bad. It's not funny. It's not entertaining. Like, I used to love like the supercuts, like those fun edits back in the day of like, even maybe 2 seasons ago, or maybe even it was this season. Stassi did a hilarious one about all the girls wearing ugly wedding dresses to Britney's bachelorette party. But then they had like that terrible super edit of like Dog's funeral. And I'm just like, this has just gotten so dumb and just not entertaining anymore.
Well, this show, Housewives, they've lost any real organic moments. They've lost, anything that isn't hyper-produced or hyper-edited. I need more realism in my reality TV, and I think that's been long gone on PumpRules for a while because they are so worried about trying to create those, like, share-worthy, like, super cuts and edits and fun moments, and I just don't really resonate with them so much because I just feel like they're so staged and fake. But it's unfortunate because like the best part of these shows we are supposed to feel like we're like a fly on the wall, but who knows? Jax claims now that earlier he said they were going to start filming in October and November, and then Bravo had to come out and be like, no, actually, sorry, no, that's not going to happen. Jax, can you not do that?
Jax, can you just not, period?
Yeah. I don't need it. I don't need the show. Again, they've just missed too much. If the idea of the show is to follow these people's lives, they've missed the boat. It's too late. You can't catch up. I mean, unless if they're going to literally just have like an episode where it's like, here's everything that happened. Like, I don't need that. But what I will say is on a positive note, because I do want to be a little positive, Sheena, I'm happy for her and her boyfriend having this baby.
I'm so happy for her. I love Sheena. I have since day one in all of her messy, sad, kind of pathetic. Like, I've always loved her from crying on Mama's shoulder. I mean, she's given us so much over the years. And the fact that last year was such a terrible season, the most recent season of Vanderpump Rules was so bad. And she was going on this pregnancy journey as far as IVF. Like, why didn't we see that? Like, that would have been fascinating to see somebody like Sheena, who's always been so insecure, who has made such a powerful, strong, determined decision to, make this life choice. Like, I'm fascinated by it. I'm fascinated by the fact that Ariana and Tom wrote a book. We got to see a quick flash of the book on the show. Like, why are we following fake love triangles and
that's where they lost their way. It was supposed to be a show of people's lives, and same with Housewives, and now all it is people at lunch going from one lunch to a dinner to talk about the dinner the night before. It's the same repetitive cycle over and over, as opposed to seeing this young woman take on the task of freezing her eggs and worrying about her future. A very real story. Instead, it's her getting drunk at Britney's pool. I mean, okay.
Right. And being upset because somebody called her boy crazy. This is a woman. I know she doesn't always act like a strong, mature woman, but we don't see that side of her.
Yeah. Well, I'm happy
it's
for
not
her.
Real.
I'm happy for her with the baby.
Yeah, it's wonderful news.
So at least something good is coming out of it. And I'm a Sheena fan too, so I'm glad we can agree on that.
However, only Vander baby I care about.
Yes, me too. And the last thing I'll say before we take this quick break, I cannot picture Sheena as a mom. Not saying she's going to be a bad mom. Not saying that. I just can't picture her being up late, caring for a baby, pushing her on a carriage. I can't picture it.
Me neither.
And maybe we never will, because I don't know if the show's actually ever really going to return. I mean, the break, and that could mean anything.
She might just be a baby influencer and a mother influencer for the rest of her life. I mean, she's gotten such good endorsements already from being pregnant.
Oh, please. There's nothing I can't stand more than a mommy blogger.
Oh, God, I know. I can't stand it. I can't stand it.
I got to go and lower my blood pressure. We'll be back. We'll be back. We're going to talk about little Dolly Parton stuff, which is fun. She talked with Oprah. And then TV. Let's talk some TV. That and more with Ashley in a moment.